I'm Valerie Eviner. I'm a professor in the Department of Plant Sciences, and I study California's grasslands and what keeps them resilient underneath changing conditions.
My name's Danny Karp. I'm an associate professor here at UC Davis in the Department of Wildlife, Fish, and Conservation Biology. Work in my lab broadly focuses on the impacts of agriculture on wildlife and then wildlife on agriculture. So we try to understand how farming can be done better to support wildlife like birds and fish and bugs in the farming environment, but then also what kind of impact those creatures might have on farm production. Are they eating the crops? Are they eating the pests that eat the crops? Are they spreading diseases? How do they sort of impact the bottom line for the farmer?
There's more and more recognition that, especially under changing conditions, you can't just put a fence around an area and say you're saving nature. It requires active management and active stewardship. And so what we're doing here at Hopland is figuring out what that is. And so we know some kind of disturbance to take out that sort of dead grass thatch that's choking everything out is really important. But we're trying to figure out what is the best way to enhance diversity, to enhance soil carbon, to enhance those wildflowers. We're looking both at prescribed fire and grazing as two key practices. And for both of those, we're really trying to figure out how to do them to maximize the benefits. So when do we do them? How often do we do them? For grazing, which grazers do we use? At what intensity and for what duration?
Rice is unique, right? It's one of the few examples where you can have sort of large-scale industrial agriculture and wildlife in the same place. So keeping farmers flooding their rice in winter is really, really important for wildlife. So the goal of this project is basically to understand, could we come up with any incentives for the farmers to continue flooding into the future, continue to provide this really essential habitat? From a preliminary data perspective, we are seeing good fish growth in these plots. One of the things that we want to evaluate is whether this practice of introducing fish to fields could almost be used as a second crop for farmers. We also have some preliminary data from the methane, and we're still working through that, but it does look like the fish are reducing methane emissions, which is a pretty astounding and amazing result. It's what we were hoping to see, what we thought we might see, but to actually begin to see the data come in that direction is really exciting.
It's intimidating, but I'm also really hopeful because we're in California and we're in the UC system and we're a land grant institution that's been for decades dedicated to thinking about how to solve these problems, working regularly with our state legislature and policymakers, working regularly with the folks out there actively stewarding the land to come up with workable solutions.